Hey everybody, David Burns with you. Hey Beak Squad family. Hey, thanks for joining us for another live stream. Good to have you on board with us tonight. Gonna have a good time tonight talking about some mistakes that beekeepers make in the month of August. So we're just a few days away from August. And boy, how are you guys holding up in all this crazy heat? If you're watching from the US, especially like Midwest and West, man, even out east, I've heard beekeepers saying, been so hot. And some of the hives are just bearding out front trying to stay cool. And to be honest with you, it was just beyond me to get outside today and make a video. I mean, just so hot. It was so hot and humid. So going to be a break, I think, in a couple of days. But next couple of days, going to be really hot. I think tomorrow here in Illinois, we have a high of 98 degrees, and that's not counting the heat factor. So tell us what hot weather is doing to your bees. You know, what's going on with your bees out in the heat. Hope they're doing okay. And I made a video a few days ago where I talked about things you can do to help your bees stay cooler. You need to watch that video. It's pretty inclusive of some things that you may not have thought about. And in that video, I actually talk about using a Burns feeding system and to actually feed them water from the top of the hive, to actually put water and leave the other two holes open, and then put that shell around them, let some passive ventilation go through right underneath the top cover, put a little stick or a coin underneath the top cover. Wow, got to keep those bees cool. So watch that video. It's got a lot of good tips in it. Just go to my YouTube channel after we're done here tonight and look at my most recent last couple of videos, and you'll see the one that says, it's too hot for your bees. Well, it's good to see all of you in the chat. Thanks so much for joining live stream. Good to have you guys and to be part of Beak Squad. We are going to be giving away a Beak Squad coffee mug tonight, so be sure and pay close attention. This one's well used, has coffee on it, so I'm not giving that one away. And we also have, do I have any on me? We also have some Beak Squad stickers. There they are. Look at this. You know, when I was a kid, I loved stickers so much. I still love stickers. These little stickers you can stick to things, Beak Squad. So I don't know. Maybe we'll give 2 of these away too. So think about that, Sherry. We'll have a fun time giving some stuff away tonight. So let's jump right in. I want to share some things with you guys tonight. I want to talk about how to avoid August mistakes. And I think that's really important because sometimes August mistakes get us. You know, here's the deal. You start with a package or a nucleus, beginning of the season. You have a good experience with your bees. Everything's going well. They're growing, they expand. It's awesome. And when you first get your package or your little nucleus, it's so gentle to work. They're so small. Everything is, you know, hunky-dory, right? And then all at once, as the bees progress and get bigger, you add another deep to them, you add some supers. You get down into August, and the bees get a little more defensive. And they get defensive because it's hot and they're more populated. And sometimes in August, there's a dearth. And so now that nice little hive that you enjoyed working so much, now it's a whole different story. You got heavy supers on it. It's hot outdoors. You're sweating and you're hot. You're hot inside your hat in a veil, and the bees are more defensive, and they're overcrowded. It's really tough to deal with. So I want to talk to you about. I think I've got 6 tips tonight on what you do to avoid making mistakes in the month of August. Because, you know, look, we're getting kind of at the point where you don't want to make any big mistakes now. So number 1, remain vigilant with your inspections. Because it's hot outside, you may not want to inspect as much. And because there's more bees and they seem to be a little more defensive, you may not want to inspect. But the big thing is a lot of misconceptions that your bees make it down to August and doing really well, you can start to think, hey, I don't need to really inspect that much, but you do. In fact, August, September, and October, you really need to keep an eye on your hives. But it is harder, right? Because they're so big. But a lot of people start making less inspections. That's wrong. A lot of people start doing less mite control because of these reasons. It's hot, the bees are too populated, and they don't inspect for mites as much. And there's less attention to weak and failing hives sometimes. You don't even know they're failing. And so what you have to do in August is remain vigilant with your inspections. Don't give up on that. The second thing is there's a failure, a mistake, to observe a dearth. So if you're unable to kind of recognize what a dearth is, it's when the bees aren't foraging much at all anymore. And there's just not any nectar out there. And all at once you realize, oh no, my bees are not bringing any nectar. And sometimes you're fooled by thinking the hive's really big. They're fine for winter, but a lot of the bees that are in there now aren't going to make it. They'll be dead by Christmas because they're summer bees. And sometimes it fools us because the hive looks so healthy at this time of the year. But remember, those are bees that are short-lived. You want to start raising bees of winter physiology. We've talked a lot about that. So without resources, numbers start to dwindle because the dearth means there's no resources. They start backing up, backing away from laying so much brood, the queen does. And so once you identify this dearth, that's you can. One of the ways I discovered recently that I can detect a dearth just like that, I take a winter be kind and I lay it far away from my hives. I put it out in the yard. Well, during a good honey flow, the bees never go to it. But if you lay it out in the yard and look at it and see bees all over it, there's a dearth. They're telling you there's nothing else out there. We're going for this candy bar. And today I noticed my bees were starting to go to my winter be kind that I laid out there to kind of test when the dearth starts. So that's one of the ways you can do it. Some of you may try a community feeder of liquid 1-to-1 sugar water in a community bird bath with some pebbles and sticks in there. So if the bees aren't going to it very much, they got better nectar and flowers. But when they start hitting that hard, it does mean that it's a dearth. So failure to observe when the dearth starts, that's a mistake in August that beekeepers make because you need to wait 2 to 3 weeks after the dearth starts, kind of mark it on your calendar, start feeding your bees at the end of that 2 to 3 week period once the dearth starts. And that's going to trigger your bees to start raising a lot of bees of winter physiology. Failure to feed. This is a big one. We're getting better about it now. Over the last few years, more beekeepers are kind of coming around understanding how much resources bees need, but we need to feed our bees. So August means that we need to start feeding our bees 1-to-1 sugar water from the top of the hive. And we need to keep at it. Some people ask me, can I just give them a quart a week? Is that enough? 2 quarts a week? How much do I give bees? I don't want to overfeed them. I believe in giving bees all that they can consume, all the resources. Now, this is after I don't have any more honey supers on, or if I have one on there, maybe it's capped over. I'm leaving it for them for the winter. But here they go, just, guzzling down all of this 1-to-1 sugar water because they're wanting to raise more bees in winter physiology, right? And so by you giving them this sugar water, feeding them from the top, it's going to help them raise the bees of winter physiology. Thanks, Don Porter, for that super sticker. Appreciate it a lot. So give the bees food in August. Now, if they're still bringing in a lot of nectar where you live, then don't start feeding them. Wait for the dearth to happen. But once the dearth takes place and they don't have anything, don't give up on feeding them. I know it's a little hard on the pocketbook. You got to keep buying sugar, but it's 1-to-1. And so it's not real, not a lot of sugar, but it still takes a little bit of money to do that. Number 4, let's see, was that number 3? Yeah, number 4 is final assessment of the queen. And what I mean by that, a mistake that some beekeepers make in August, they fail to keep monitoring how well the queen's laying when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well the queen's laying, when they get in how well. All right, let's see. Is that going to work? Can you guys hear me now? I think that fixed it.
Okay, I'll run out to the
Okay, all right.
Out in the store.
Sound issues. How about now? You guys hear me okay now? Let me know if you're hearing me. Okay, sound like you're hearing me good now, right? All right. Sorry about that. Yep. Okay, much better. Okay. Yeah, I've had a little trouble with a new camera that I'm trying to use, and something about that camera is hurting me. Give me just a second to get my slide back on screen. I'm going to use it off this computer. Bear with me just for a second here. Make this happen. Boy, to really do well in live streaming, you have to be some sort of a crazy computer nerd to make all this work. All right, we're going to make this happen. All right, so here we go. Sherry's going to pop in here in a little bit on another computer to pick up on the comments here in just a second. So just be patient with us. Okay, so I was talking about final queen assessment. And what happens a lot of times is that people fail to realize that their queen is in trouble in the month of August. So they just stop watching how the queen is laying. So I want you to keep taking a good look at the queen, make sure she's laying well. It's challenging to find the queen in August, so you don't really have to find her, but you do need to go in there and make sure she's laying well. And so you need to determine too, I've made several videos on if the queen is still laying well. So if she's a new queen, that's something I've talked about here in a couple of videos ago. I said, if she's a queen that's old, you may want to replace her now. And we're getting at the place now where you really can't do much in getting new queens, because as we get deeper into late summer and fall, it's going to be really tough. So keep thinking about that. Okay, how about how about failure to protect against robbers? This is a big mistake in the month of August. People oftentimes just don't realize how soon your bees can get robbed out. And they get robbed out because other colonies are very strong, they're very aggressive, and they find a hive that they can slip into. Maybe a weak hive, maybe a hive that's just kind of low in numbers. Something is wrong with that hive, and they will start robbing it. So you need to be on red alert, ready to protect against robbers, okay? So robbers can be bees from other colonies, or they can be wasps, and other insects can try to get in there. If you live near a bunch of yellow jackets, for example, that can be an issue as well. So you have to be careful there. So robber screens, let's talk about that. When do you put robber screens on a hive? I would say when you see a dearth, you're going to have to reduce the entrance of your hive. Most hives have an entrance reducer. It's good to reduce that entrance so that there won't be as big of an area for bees to have to protect on the front of that hive. So try to figure out, how can I reduce the entrance when there's a dearth? Because you're feeding from the top, your bees aren't foraging that much, so you can reduce that entrance, and that garden bees have a smaller opening to protect against robbers. But if you start seeing robbers, then you need to put a robber screen on. Now, I've made videos on robber screens before, and basically a robber screen is a way where you figure out robbers want to go into the entrance of the hive, but your bees will go up and out a little higher up from the opening behind some screen. And the robbers won't figure out how to do that very quickly. And they'll get discouraged and stop trying. They'll try to go in where they see and smell the bees, but they can't get through the screen. So a robber screen really works well. I use those little white ones that have openings at the top, about 3 inches up from where bees are naturally going in. And so you have to really kind of keep an eye on that. Now, what does robbing look like? All of you are probably thinking, I just don't know what robbers look like. Well, a lot of times people show me a lot of activity at the entrance, bees going in and out really fast. And that's really not robbing. That can be just bees having a good nectar flow going on. But robbers are when you see a lot of fighting at the entrance. Your bees will be curled up, and they'll be curled up with another bee holding on to it, fighting it, stinging it, trying to pull their hair out. It doesn't look good. So the way that you also can tell if there's robber bees will try to get in the hive all around it, not just the entrance, but you'll see them flying around the side of it. You'll see them flying around the back of it. They'll be all around trying to get into that hive. It's crazy how bad it is. And so once you see a lot of activity around your hive, because your bees are not going to be trying to get in their hive from the back or the sides, right? Yeah, that's a good indication. Robbers are trying to get in any place there's a weakness. They want to get into that hive. So I just encourage you to keep watching your hives, keep taking a look at them to make sure that you don't see robbers flying around it. That's really critical and really important. All right, so final thing, number 6, is failure to keep the hive cool. Now, this is a tough one because a lot of people just don't know how badly this hot weather can affect your bees. If you have wax frames, it can really start to sometimes melt and warp the wax. If you've got new foundation in there that's not wired really well. Usually if you're using plastic foundation, not an issue. But, wax does get very, very weak the hotter the inside of the hive gets. Now, guys, have you seen bees gathering on the outside of your hive? You'll see a little small swarm, it looks like, hanging off the bottom board, It's like, look at all those bees outside. Or you see them washing the deck. They're going back and forth on the front side of the hive. It's crazy looking. But what happens is bees are hot. They're hot, and they're hot inside the hive. You get a bunch of people in one room, it gets hot, right? So what they're doing, they're making some of these bees, a lot of them, go outside so they don't overheat the developing pupae. So that's what's critical. This pupae needs to be kept at a constant temperature around 92 degrees. And so the hotter that gets, it's endangering that developing pupae. So that's important for them to kind of thin out the population in the hive when that temperature gets too hot. So here's what I suggested in my last video. Please watch it. I'll go into more details in that video. But I talked about shade. Like we all try to find ways to reduce small hive beetle by keeping our hives out in the sun. And that works great until they're in the sun and it's hot. Then you got to figure out, how do I can't move my hives. That'd confuse them if I move them. So you got to bring the shade to the hive. Take a 4x4 piece of cardboard or plywood. Just cut a 4x8 sheet of plywood in half. Lay it on top of the hive. It hangs over. Lay it right on top of the telescoping cover. Instant shade. It's incredible how well that works. I love doing that, making shade in a hurry. So it makes shade during the hottest part of the day, between 10 and 2. Also, one of the tricks you can use is that you can open up your screen bottom board if you have one of those slide out protectors underneath there. But you also need to put a coin or a stick, a popsicle stick. Somebody said you can still buy those, a box of them at Walmart, and slip that under your top cover so the bees can pull more air, ventilation, to help cool their hive. You'll see little bees lined up on the bottom board, and oftentimes their wings are just fanning the air, pulling it out of that hive as fast as they can, trying to cool that hive down. And so that's important. And of course, water source is another tip that I gave. putting water on top of the hive and a bird's feeding, just have that water above them, or let them fly out to a community water feeder like a bird bath. Here's the deal on water. Remember, bees aren't drinking water like we do. We're mostly water. We need a lot of water. Bees need water to cool the inside of their hive. It's been said that bees will put a gallon of water, they'll go out and gather it in their honey tank, bring it back in and put it on the brood frames. And then they'll fan with their wings. It's evaporative cooling. So that works out really well for the bees to have that cooling, that evaporative cooling in the hive. So figure out how you can help your bees get that moisture. Try to put this laptop down and get some water so they can have water in the hive to help cool it. So when you think about water in the hive, that bees stop going out after nectar. Now you think that bees would, keep getting nectar, bringing it in, but on really hot days, they can't. They have to go, almost all of them go out on water detail only. So you might see a little bit less honey production and just a lot more nectar or a lot more water coming in than nectar as they cool that hive down. So you're going to sacrifice a little bit of honey on really hot days. They got to get that water. And so those are some tips that you need to think about in helping keep that hive cool. So that's going to be important. Let me go over these tips again, just summarize them again. Tip number 1, stay after your inspections. Don't give up because it's hot and the bees are heavily populated. And observe the dearth, react to the dearth by waiting in 2 or 3 weeks. And then you can actually start feeding them after that 2 or 3 weeks goes by. And then you want to feed. So don't give up feeding after you observe a dearth. Feed them from the top. Don't feed from the entrance. Now, a lot of people make that mistake. Feeding from the entrance can entice robbers to the entrance in the fall. So don't do that. Only feed from the top. Add the additives that we sell, or if you want to get them somewhere else, they need protein powder, bee protein substitute, pollen substitute, amino bee booster, and honeybee healthy. That helps a lot. Finally, assess your queen. Make sure she's laying well. You don't want to lose a queen in September when you can't replace her. Try to know in August you still got a good queen. And number 5 is protect your hive against robbers. Monitor that pretty heavy. And then finally, keep your hive cool all year long. That's going to be real critical as well. Oh, that's good. So some tips on August, what you should be watching out for in the month of August. That's real important. Lisa says it's hot down here in Florida. We're in a dearth and left the entrance open. The bees are bearding big time, but we need to reduce the entrance. We're to feeding 1-to-1 sugar water. That's a toughie because if you close the entrance up, you're going to make it hotter. They need that entrance to pull air, especially if you have a solid bottom board. If you have a screen bottom board, it's not as critical. You can go ahead and kind of close up, reduce that bottom entrance a little bit, but that's going to be the tough part. Get something under the top cover, like a small little stick, nothing big enough for a bee to go through, but something small to put up there. And that will be a huge help as well. All right. I'm navigating new on the fly here. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Found a capped swarm cell on July 7th and made a split. A week after the new queen was born, she had torn wings and had not mated. Decided to start over with an egg from another colony. Mistake? Well, torn wings usually means that 2 queens fought. It could mean that if, maybe she had to form wing virus, but it sounds more like there was a struggle and they picked at her wings. Now, was she actually mated before that happened? She could still lay with bad wings, but that's the thing. It sounds like you thought she wasn't mated. So not a mistake. Anytime you feel there's an abnormality with your queen, she may not do well, get out there and get a new queen in there as soon as you can. I think that's a good decision for sure. Yeah. All right. Any other questions you want to throw at me tonight? We got 7:25. We got a while to go. Thank you for that donation. I just saw that. Carolyn, when you fall feed, do you clean the mold and feeders between each refill? You know what? We like to do that as people. I don't think it affects the bees that much at all, but I think it makes us feel better. Plus, you do get to keep those jars cleaner. If you just let it build up with mold on mold on mold, it's not going to look good anymore. Being sanitary when you're feeding your bees like that, it's always a good thing. So, if it's not a big inconvenience, yeah, soapy water, tiny little bit of bleach in there between feedings, rinse it out good, you'll be good to go. Absolutely. Hey, David, how are you? If you're venting your hives during the day, that's with a popsicle stick, a wedge under the lid for ventilation on top. Do need to close up the vent at night when it cools right down? Oh, no. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure where you live, but in Illinois, when it cools down at night, it goes from like 90 to 70 Fahrenheit. So, sometimes it's just 20 degrees. It's still hot. In fact, the bees seem to be the hottest at night because they're all in there. It really doesn't cool off in a hive. Like even on a decent summer day, you can get down to, let's say, 55 at night. But there's so many bees, and it doesn't reach 55 until like 3 or 4 in the morning anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that. I keep the vent open night and day. Yep. Hey, Dwayne, how are you? I'm looking at moving some of my hives. It's about 3-hour drive. Any thoughts on moving in the heat? Well, can you wait until winter to move them? That would be the best thing to do. If you can't, you need to move them at night. So you'll go out there at night and take some screen wire. A lot of people use screen inner covers for moving, and take the top cover off, let your bees have air, I guess. But moving them is tricky. If you've never moved hives before, it's very, very challenging if you're new to it. It can be scary. You need to buckle down the bottom board to the bottom deep because they're going to slide. Even though they're tightly together in your yard, you start transporting them, all the boxes can jar apart. Bees go everywhere. I moved some hive once from Ohio to Illinois and thought we had them secure. They weren't. And boy, bad things happen. So when you move hives, make sure all the things are tie down strapped from bottom board to top cover. And then just do it in the coolest part of the night as you can. And that way you can open them up the next day. One more tip about moving hives, though. It's real important when you move hives that you have everything in your truck or vehicle to handle a huge mishap. So I want you to have a smoker, a lot of smoker fuel, a lighter. I want you to have a bee vac if you own a bee vac. I want you to have a bee suit. I want you to have everything, duct tape, everything possible in case something bad happens while you're transporting those bees. Be ready to solve a catastrophe on the road. Yeah, good question. Wyatt Earp. Wow, look at that. Nice name. I have summer vents on all my hives. Should I add the pop sticks? Northern Nevada. Nevada's really had the heat too. It's really up to you. What do you think the bees are doing? What are they showing you? Are they still trying to stay outside a lot? Are they still drawing a lot of air through the hive? Test it out. See if you can put some popsicle sticks under the top a little bit. See if it helps them stay cooler. A lot of you might still be using solid bottom boards by preference. Maybe you prefer that. I'll tell you what, that just makes a hive a lot hotter. I've got some solid boards out there, but the hives that are screen bottom boards are not nearly as bearding as much as my solid bottom board hives. So any vents that you're giving that solid bottom board hive is going to help that hive so much. Good question. Yeah. Madeline, how are you doing? I can't even get into one of my hives because they are so aggressive. Yep. I've got a couple like that too. It seems like my hives weren't that aggressive. I call it defensive. We never want to say, don't want to say the A word, aggressive. You want to say defensive. Defensive, it sounds better, right? Bees are defending. They're not really aggressively, but I've had some of mine that become really defensive lately, and they're not fun to work, are they? They're just always at your face, your screen. They're always just, you can just they're bumping your head. And I don't like doing that. I think it's because they're more populated. They're hotter. There's less nectar flow. There's more to protect. There's more honey on board to protect. So they're doing what bees do. They're defending the home. A lot of times you can try to replace the queen, but now we're getting in the season where you kind of hate to do it so late, but that might be an option to keep in mind for next year. If that queen overwinters the same queen, then maybe replace her in the spring. But you're just going to have to use a lot of smoke. I have a video where I show you how to separate the boxes. So in other words, here's a trick I use sometimes on these defensive colonies. I go out there and I take the honey super off, and then I have another top cover ready. I put the top cover on the first deep, separate the top deep, and I walk away with it to like a picnic table area. And I set it down over there. I go back, put that hive back together with that super and a top cover. Then I go back to the picnic table. Amazing when I take all those bees away from their hive, how much calmer they are. So I can work one box away from the hive, and they really can't get the whole hive, kind of riled up. That's a tip for you. It works pretty good for me. Yeah. Hey, Grayson, how are you? Oh, you got a problem with hive beetles there in Georgia? Isn't that awful? What would you suggest to control the beetles and beetle larvae in the hive? Oh, man. Grayson, if I had that answer, I would be a millionaire, because, that's a long sought answer. Like, how do you control beetles? But historically, we always teach that you need to keep your hive strong. And then we also teach, keep your yard cleaned up. Don't leave supers sitting around, combs sitting around that will attract beetles. And then try your best to smash them every time you see them. You got to smash as many beetles when you open up a hive as you can. And lastly, you need to trap them with all kind of traps. You can use the West trap below a screen bottom board, or below, the bottom board area. Or you can use oil traps between frames by putting a 1/4 inch of oil in the traps. But the biggest thing about controlling beetles is just stay after it. You've got I had one hive, I think a couple of years ago, that had I just couldn't get a handle on the beetles. And I must have had I bet I had 10 little beetle traps, disposable beetle traps in each deep. 10 of them. I had them everywhere. And it really got a lot of, I was catching 20 beetles in each trap. So the big thing about beetles is if you can stay ahead of it. But I know in Georgia, you've got the right conditions for those beetles to really expand. There's a lot of stuff out there today, the Swiffer pads, special little bottom boards that are supposed to not let beetles go in and out. Excuse me. And people are trying all sorts of things, but they are an issue. Sorry about that, Grace. And I share your frustration. Mary Ann Livingston, I set up a nuke on July the 3rd with brood, nectar, honey, and eggs, larvae, and a queen cell. At about week 3, I found a frame with single and double larvae and cells. What's going on? Yeah, let's see. July 3rd, about a week, at about week 3. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so what happens probably in this case, Marianne, is a new queen when she comes back, and so I'm suspecting this is a queen cell. So it's a new queen that started laying. Those new queens will circle back and lay another egg where they've already laid an egg. It's not uncommon at all for new queens to do that. And the bees will take care of it. They do sometimes develop into larvae, and you see 2 larvae in a cell. I've seen that a lot in new queens, but they'll eventually cull one out, and there'll just be one. That will all clear up, as long as it's not some other issue like laying workers. But in that case, you see eggs more on the wall of the cells than you see 8 eggs in a cell. This sounds like a new queen just kind of figuring things out. Good news on that. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Hey, David, how are you? Do you have any counsel on how to deal with yellow jacket intrusions? I am from Scotland and UK. We have the problem this year. Oh, wow. I want to go biking in the UK. Somebody said that's just beautiful. I watch a lot of videos on biking in the UK, and it looks so beautiful. And Somebody said Yorkshire is a great place to go biking, but yellow jackets are tough to get because they are meat eaters. I mean, they just eat roadkill. They're tough. They bite, sting. They're relentless. I would suggest that you tread carefully because what would kill a yellow jacket probably is going to kill a honeybee, right? Baiting them and such. But you might try to figure out, maybe watch a few YouTubes on how to kill yellow jackets without killing honeybees. There's special traps. You can draw them into traps where they go after meat, and honeybees don't eat meat. But I don't want to advise you because I don't want you to kill your hives. But I would say do your research on how to destroy yellow jackets. But there are a lot of people here in the States, in the South especially, that cannot get them under control, and they destroy colonies, and they're terrible. Yellow jackets, are just vicious. We have them here in Illinois too, but they're not as bad here anyway. Do I use nematodes for small hive beetles? I don't. I haven't. I know a lot of people do, but again, this nematodes is something that I think I would not use until I've used all the other methods first. I want to make sure that I don't have small hive beetle getting too populated in my hives. Like control them in the hives so that they are not an issue. Now, I did have an infestation of small hive beetle, so many years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I don't remember, but it was a long time ago. So bad that I had to use the guard star on the ground, and I did not like doing that. But it was kind of mandated that I had to do it, so I had to do it. There's a lot of ways to do that. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate the super sticker today. Appreciate the donations, as always, so much. So yeah, nematodes is not really the first thing I would go to, not at all. I'd try all the other different methods. Trapping is my best method. Hi, Debbie. Thank you. I appreciate sharing your knowledge. I learn a lot. Well, good. I really do enjoy sharing beekeeping tips and tricks for new beginners. A lot of fun in it to learn, and knowledge is just awesome. Wish I had something better to balance my laptop on this coffee mug. Okay, John, I recently checked my hives and discovered that in one of my hives, the second deep is filled with honey. All 10 frames, both sides, even the green drone comb. Do I harvest in Green Bay? Oh, wow. Well, that's kind of a good problem, John. You've got a lot of honey coming in the door, and that's good. Sounds like Green Bay, Wisconsin, you're going to overwinter with 2 deeps. So you're thinking, what do I do? A lot of colonies can overwinter in your configuration. All that honey on that top deep is going to be their winter resources. But you have to monitor the lower deep, make sure they still got enough brood to make bees a winter physiology. So what you might consider doing is pulling out 2 or 3 frames in the middle of your top deep and harvesting, maybe 4, because you balance it in the extractor. Maybe spin out 4 frames of honey, put it back in there, and see if the queen won't lay a little brood up there, and give you a little bit more space for the queen to lay. That's a pretty good option, I think, in this case. If it's this jam full with honey up there, she's not going to go up there. I wonder if you have supers on there. Hi, David. Can you give my daughter Ansley a shout out? Is it pronounced Ansley? Sorry, I can't pronounce it correctly. Oh yeah, well, shout out. Sherry's showing me how to pronounce the name, and I can't do it. She's making the letter P, the letter A. I'm not good with sign language either, apparently. Well, the big shout out to the daughter there. Thanks for watching the live stream tonight. Leah Burns. Hi, David. Very informative. Vera says hi. Leah, nice that you dropped in. Leah is one of my daughter-in-laws, and Vera is one of my granddaughters. So that's great. Good to have you guys watching. And Vera loves to watch me on TV. She's always like so excited. Vera. Hi, Vera. Hi, Vera. And probably a whole bunch of other people named Vera watching and going, wow, that's my name. Hey, David, do you have any recommendation on chalk brew treatment? There is no known chalk brew treatment. A lot of times we just try to figure out it happens when it's more of a spring wet conditions. So we try to dry the hive out, try to get it more functional. Maybe requeen it is another possible method to use. I wonder where you're living, where you're getting chalk brewed. Wow, must be cool and wet, I believe, for that to be happening. I'd like to see a picture of that. I had chalk brewed one time. It was in the spring. Tried to make an early split. Didn't work out well. Sometimes the bees just don't have enough bees in there to protect and feed and take care of things, and chalk brew can set in. Not any good recommendations on chalk brew. Hey, Neil, how are you tonight? My old queen has seemed spotty with her egg laying lately. Is there any good tips to try to see if she's reduced laying due to slowdown of pollen or nectar, or is it her time to go? Oh, I know, Neil, I agree with you. I want to know that answer too. Oh. Now, I made a video last year where I didn't know what to do. Remember that video? Those of you that are new, you didn't see that one. So I took the queen and put her in her own hive. Hey, Brian Bennett, always good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks for that donation. Really appreciate it. But I put that queen that wasn't laying well in her, she was in a super. So I put a super on a bottom board, put a lid on it. And I just let her alone. She started making it through winter. She made it through last winter. So now they're a strong colony. She's an awesome layer. So if I would have killed her and I would have misread her. It wasn't her fault. It was just the timing of low nectar source, like you're saying, Neil. I don't have an answer, Neil. If there's a better way for you to kind of start feeding them, if there's a dearth going on, and see if that helps her, maybe that would be an answer, but not a real good way that I can think of. Oh, thanks, Rob Layton, for the donation. Appreciate that. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate that. It means a lot. It does get overwhelming sometimes trying to keep everything going, especially when you have technical issues. I'm going to take that camera that has a built-in microphone and I'm going to run over it with my golf cart because I don't like it. I was in a Zoom meeting earlier. It did the same thing in the Zoom meeting. And it was very important that I remain speaking, and it failed me there. I didn't know it was a camera at the time. Well, check out our website at honeybeesonline.com. And on our website, we have a lot of good things like the additives that you add in the fall. We also have our, I can't show you my cup anymore because I'm balancing this laptop on it, but we're going to give away a cup, a Beak Squad cup. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up on this computer, and I'll keep trying to talk to you while we do that. So Beak Squad is something that Sherry and I really feel pretty passionate about because we love you guys, and you guys mean so much to us, being part of our YouTube channel. And so we call you guys Beak Squad because YouTube a few months ago said, David, you have to come up with a handle, something that you call yourself on YouTube. And you got to hurry up and do it fast before everybody takes it, right? And so, I don't know, I felt rushed. And I was like, what do I call myself? I came up with the idea of beak. That's what you call a beekeeper. It's short for beekeeper. You say, I'm a beak. And so you guys are beaks. And, I can't do it on this computer, Sherry. Let me try it again. Let's see. Yep, I did it. And so you guys are the Beak Squad. That's cool, isn't it? Beak Squad. So we're going to give away right now. We're going to start a giveaway. So we're going to call it Beak Squad. So go to the comment section and type in Beak Squad, and we'll see who will win a coffee mug. Let me see if I got this set up right. Beak Squad. BEEKSQUAD. Start selecting comments. Okay. Everybody get a hold of that? Okay, so Beak Squad, you're doing it. Put the words together. It's got to be spelled correctly. It's got to be one word, BEEKSQUAD. One word, please. Beak Squad. Yeah, that's good. Sherry and I, I'm going to get off subject for a minute here. Sherry and I have been dealing with nothing bad. It's just been life. But we've been doing so much stuff that requires passwords and logins and all these silly things. And do you guys get frustrated like I do that you try to do something that you're always logged into, and all at once you they make you change your password. So you got to change your password. Well, you had the other one memorized, and now and when you select a password, you got to have an uppercase, a lowercase, a silly character, a smiley. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so complicated that I can't get in to my own stuff. But apparently a hacker can hack in. But it's so hard, it's keeping me out. I don't understand that. So we've had so many examples this week of like, oh no, another PIN number, another password issue. And this is one of those experiences where you have to spell Beak Squad correctly or you don't win the coffee mug. Yeah. Well, we're experimenting with the Beak Squad coffee mugs. A lot of you have been buying them online. That was encouraging. And a lot of you have been buying the little stickers as well. I love those stickers again. Ooh, I can't move much. There they are. So I got off my other Zoom meeting just in time to get on live stream, and then we had all kind of failures again. But there's a Beak Squad stickers that you can get online as well. I never know where I want to stick these stickers, but I put stickers in wild places. All right, let's see what we're doing on the on collecting the. Yeah, we have 86 entries for the coffee mug tonight. 86 entries. All right, guys, what are you thinking? We're going to get up to 100 and we'll do a draw. Beak Squad will get you a free coffee mug. We'll select a winner on Beak Squad. 92. We need 8 more people. 94. We're almost there. Coffee mug. You guys like coffee? You can drink tea out of it if you like to drink green tea. But if you're a coffee drinker, it's fun to drink out of a different coffee mug occasionally. Stuck at 94. We need 6 people, or I'm going to push to about 95. Man, you're going to really make the last 5 people. Come on, 95, 95, 97. All right, now we're moving. 3 more people. Hashtag Beak Squad in the comment, and we're going to roll and see who wins. We're at 102. Let's go ahead and let's select. Let's see if I can do this right. Draw. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Oh, sorry. I must have fallen asleep at the wheel. I can do this. I'm a thing doer. Let's see. I was supposed to share my screen apparently first. Let's see. Share screen. Oh, okay. It says I have 2 monitors. Share screen. Which screen do I pick? Oh, here it is. Stand by. Share the screen. A little bit late on the rolling the dice and all, but the winner is EL. Oh, I'm going to have to rehearse how to do the giveaway again. I've forgotten how to do it. So the winner is EL. So I'm not sure who that is, but if you will let Sherry know who you are by sending an email to longlanehoneybees@gmail.com, we will get that sent out to you. So email Sherry at longlanehoneybees@gmail.com. Let her know that you were E.L. and email her your shipping address. I'm going to see if I can pull this off again. I think I can do it while I'm sitting here. Why is this so challenging for me? Yeah. Maybe I can do it like this. Let's try it. So let's do it again. Choose contest. Let's do a different hashtag. Let's make an easy hashtag. Hashtag mug. How about that? And we'll start collecting comments. Boom. There we go. All right. Now you can see things. Phew, there we go. So we'll give away another coffee mug on collecting comments. That's good. All right. Let me see if I can make myself a little bit bigger. I can see these things. All right. That looks funny. Okay. CJE, really need to know if you extract excess backfill nectar from deep frames, that is, what is the bricks reading to make 1-to-1 to feed back to the bees? Isn't feeding back diluted nectar better than refined sugar? Oh, I see. It's really not, we don't use bricks. I think that's more for wine making, but it's a similar thing. I know you see that in your refractometer, but we use the refractometer that says it may say bricks, but it says water on the right side of it. That's what you want to use. But I'm going to make it simple and say honey, nectar is always better for bees, right? We always want to do that. But sometimes we don't have that option, like during a dearth, we feed them one-to-one sugar water. Sugar water has a bad name, I think, among humans. Sugar seems to be not good for us. But with bees, it's not really that bad for bees. I mean, it's sucrose, and bees love that. That means their preferred sugar, sucrose. So I don't think it's all that bad for bees to feed them sugar water. I've never had any bad experiences or bad luck feeding bees sugar water. It works out well. I don't know how to answer your question about it looks like you're taking these frames that are backfilled with nectar, so they're not capped over yet, and you want to turn that into some kind of a one-to-one solution. But anytime you want to feed bees nectar, leave it in the frames and give those frames of nectar to your bees and just let them have it. That's always a good thing. All right, we're collecting comments for the second mug giveaway. Let me see if I can make this work better this time. So hashtag mug for the Beak Squad coffee mug tonight. Beak Squad coffee mug. I want to make a t-shirt. I want a black t-shirt. Here, I can do this one. Look at that. Get a t-shirt made with Beak Squad on it. Wouldn't that be nice? Look at that. Anybody run a t-shirt company? I think that'd be a cool t-shirt. Beak Squad t-shirts. That'd be nice. All right, I am going to make that screen a little bit bigger. Oh, wow, there's a lot of entries this time. Okay, are we ready to roll? Let's see who will win this time. Oh, now I figured it out. So I get things figured out after a couple tries. Who will win the mug? Woo! Oh, Eric Johnson. Congratulations, Eric. Good job. Be sure and email longlinehoneybees@gmail.com, Eric, for your coffee mug. Beak Squad coffee mug. A lot of fun times getting those coffee mugs, huh? Yeah, that's good. A lot of you guys have sent me coffee mugs, and I've used them a lot. I appreciate that. Look at that. Here's one from Nevada. Somebody sent me up in the studio here, and I appreciate that. You can always send me a coffee mug if from your state, maybe, or from your country. And it's fun to wake up and think about maybe somebody that watched my video and watching around the world or a different state, enjoying sending me a coffee mug. So appreciate that. All right. You have some other questions? What time are we wrapping up here? We got about 6 or 7 more minutes. So I'll take a moment to tell you guys I'm excited about going to EAS. I'm flying out this weekend. Looking forward to a whole week at Eastern Apicultural Society, speaking there a couple of times. I'll be team leader for the field exams that we give to candidates to become master beekeepers. So I got a lot on my plate that week. But it's fun to be around beekeepers, researchers, scientists. This is where a lot of the scientists will talk about their studies they're doing. And we hear hot off the press news about bees, what's good and bad for bees, beekeepers. So it's a big, big event. It's been a conference that's been around a long time. And it's really just a fun time. I've made a lot of friends at EAS. EAS by far is my most favorite conference to go to. Now, you might be thinking, what about Hive Life? Now, Hive Life, changing gears this year. I know all about that. But, I loved going to Hive Life last year. It was a lot of fun. That was my first time to go. And I saw so many of you, and it was a hoot. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. They're different. And I like both of them. I only like EAS more is because I've been married to it longer. I know more friends. I know more people. I'm part of the organization. I have a lifetime membership there. So I just have ridden that horse longer. I've worn those shoes longer, and it feels better. But, all conferences are fun if you learn things and take away stuff that makes you a better beekeeper. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got a lot of stuff to do between now and when I fly out, but looking forward to that. So if you're going to be at EAS this year, please come up and say hi to me. A lot of you feel like, you feel like I'm different and you don't want to bother me or something. Don't do that. Don't treat me different. I'm a beekeeper that puts my pants on one leg at a time like anybody else. So knock me down, stop me, say hi to me, let me know that you're one of my viewers here on YouTube, that you're part of the Beak Squad. So be sure and do that. All right. I'll take a couple more questions. If some of you are just asking, or if you got something you want to share tonight, we'll talk about it in the last few minutes here. If there was a word of wisdom you would give to beginner beekeeper, what would it be? Yeah, that's a very good question. I like questions like that a lot. A word of wisdom would be try to always remember that you don't know everything, and be very comfortable admitting that you don't know it all, so that your mind stays open to anything that you need to know, or anything that might be new, something, sometimes we get too opinionated and we don't really accept something that might be a new thing that really does work better. So try to be very humble in your gathering information. But another thing I would tell you is you've got to take the information that you gather with a grain of salt. You're going to have to develop an ability to say, I'm not sure if I trust that source. You know what I mean? Or I really trust that source. For me, the easiest way for me to do that is stick to science. Like I'm not opposed to venturing off proven, scientific methods that show something. I'm not opposed to saying this hasn't been scientifically tested, but it does work. That's okay. If it works, it works, right? But you have to make sure that you don't get too far into the woods and following something that you think it's working because of this or that, but scientifically it shows that it's not working. And I see that a lot in beekeeping. A lot of beekeepers are following, they're gullible enough to follow things that sound like, and they're advertised and they're presented as if they're really going to be life-changing with beekeeping, but they're really not. It really doesn't make bees better or worse. So just learn all you can, be open-minded, but kind of run everything through a real scientific filter to know if that stands the test of time or not. Yeah, it's a good answer. Good question. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Do you have winter bee kind boards for sale? Long Island beekeeping. That's almost like Long Lane beekeeping. Long Island. Must be, yeah. I understood. Someone corrected me that I didn't say Long Island correctly. You got to say Long Island. Long Island. I'm from Illinois, originally from the South, so I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to pronounce words. I'm terrible. Okay, back to the question. Winter bee kinds are on sale if they're not filled. Like right now, we have winter bee kinds available without the candy in them, and they come with a recipe. So you could fill your own, make your own candy. But our winter bee kind boards with the candy in them, they go on sale in a few days on August the 1st. So if you try to buy one with candy in it now, it's going to say sold out. But it won't say that on August the 1st. That's the only way we can prevent people from buying them ahead of time. We just don't enter into the season of winter bee kinds until August the 1st. We try to use the summer to regain our sanity of relaxing a little bit, and then we go on sale and get back at it again. 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 sugar water in the fall. That's what I've spoken on that before. This would be my last question, by the way. I got to run. But 1-to-1 sugar water in the fall. 2-to-1 means that they're going to store that, and I'm going to feed my bees my winter bee kinds all winter long. I don't need them to store anything. I need them to raise bees of winter physiology, dearth physiology. They do it when you feed them 1-to-1, which mimics nectar from nectaries of flowers. So I'm trying to get them to lay more brood by giving them 1-to-1 sugar water in the fall. Rob, that makes sense. Guys, thanks so much. I'm glad that we were able to work through that little hiccup. Another note to write down, how to correct that from happening in the future. Sorry about that, but you were patient and we made it happen. Thanks to Sherry pointing it out and behind the scenes making it all work. Way to go, Sherry. Yay, Sherry. So check out our website, honeybeesonline.com. And check out all my YouTube videos. I've made some this week that you may not have seen yet. So be sure and check those videos out. We appreciate it so much. And we're going to be back with you again next week. When I'm in EAS, I am going to do a live stream from EAS next Thursday night. I've already looked at my schedule. I can pull this off. So join me next Thursday night for another live stream from Amherst, Massachusetts, from EAS. So thanks a lot, guys. Love you guys so much. You're the best. Can't say enough good things about all of you guys. And I look forward to the next time that we can be together and have fun. See you later. Bye-bye.